First of all, I'll start about introducing myself and yeah. So who am I? So yes, I have completed my BSc in Electrical and Information Engineering department in University of Ruhuna. And during that time, one third of the course was about software engineering, and we had to study electrical as well as information, this electronics as well. But during my 4 years of the university, I was somehow try to specialize software subjects, even though we didn't have a lot of modules. During my free time, I was actually uh, what you call coding my pet projects, doing part-time work, doing freelancing work. So I had a good exposure even during the university studies as well. And after the university, I joined to a Sri Lankan company named Forging International. Probably you might have heard. It is like 25 years old company right now, almost 24. And I started as a software engineer there, and eventually promoted up until a technical team lead. And I worked there for like 6 years, as per my LinkedIn profile. As per my LinkedIn profile. And eventually, then I was thinking of because at that time salary ranges in Sri Lanka was almost similar. I could have easily gone from Cogent to some other Sri Lankan companies, but I was looking for other opportunities as well, not to migrate, but how can I secure a foreign company while staying in Sri Lanka? So I was actively applying for foreign companies as well. One of the company was actually Crossover, this Oria and Trilogy, which is coming under Crossover. So one of the company was Crossover, and I'm working in Crossover for like 4 years right now. And I initially joined as a software architect back in 2020. That was the time where COVID-19 pandemic started. But since I was working for a foreign company, staying at home, that really didn't affect me or anything. I didn't have to face any what you call salary cuts or anything. I just have to make sure that I have a decent computer setup as well as a good internet connection, and also just in case if there are any power outages, I need to have a power backup as well. So I was pretty much secured in that case, and I was performing really well in Crossover. I was promoted to a lead software engineer at some point. So in this role, basically. I was managing a small team of 4 senior software engineers. Uh, during crossover times, during Cogent times, I was managing a team of 8 software engineers. So when working in Cogent, I was actually doing couple of interviews, not couple, but somewhere close to 10 interviews. So I have reviewed CVs from um, graduates from Rona, graduates from Peradeniya, as well as from Moratuwa, and some graduates from Slit as well. And during my crossover time, even right now, even day before yesterday, I'm actively interviewing new people for crossover. So I'm getting CVs from a lot of Asian countries, mostly from India, Philippines, and Pakistan, Nepal, and a lot of folks who have migrated from Asian countries to Australia, New Zealand, as well as from Canada. So mainly, I'm interviewing a lot of Asian candidates from all over Asia and from other parts of the world as well. So I pretty much know what I'm expecting from a CV or maybe a resume. And during past 4 to 5 months, I was actually looking for other opportunities as well, because under crossover in Trilogy, I was looking for 3 years and 10 months. Because when you are in the same position for a long period of time, eventually you know everything about that company, you know all the processes, and sometimes it can be a little bit boring. So I was looking for other opportunities. I was looking for other companies as well, and I think I sent applications for almost more than 100 companies, 100 different jobs. But eventually, I found another position in another department inside Crossover, which is Oria. End of the day, I'm working in the same company Crossover, but in a different department with a different technology stack and processes. So somewhat that balance out for me. And yeah, so that is basically about me. Then the next question is why I am doing this particular session. One of the reason is I have kind of a soft spot for the University of Ruhuna, because that is where I got my bachelor's degree. And when Dr. Kushan asked me if there's any eligible person who can conduct a CV writing session, I volunteered myself. I'm not getting any benefit out of this. So I volunteered myself, and his first request was, can you come to the university and do this physically? Somewhat due to all the circumstances, it is really hard to come during a weekend, driving back and forth. And mostly, there's no enough time to afford for that. So somehow I managed to convince him, let's do this via Zoom, and let's convince the undergraduates to get the best out of me, because I'm purely doing this for the sake of the university, because I have a soft spot in my heart for this engineering faculty. That's the only reason I'm doing this. All right. So, okay. Then this session is about writing resumes. Let's start with the resume I wrote initially. Because when I was in the engineering faculty, we used to have two internships, 3 months apart. At the end of second year, we used to do a one internship for 3 months in a software company or whatever the company we found. And at the end of the third year, there was another 3 months internship. I think at that time, industries were somewhat reluctant to hire us because Moratuwa and Peradeniya, they were having one internship for entire 6 months. So they were somewhat reluctant to hire us because during 3 months, mostly the first month, they had to teach us what to do about the company processes and stuff like that. And at the end of at the end of first month, that's the time they can actually get a work out of us. And after 2 months, we are leaving. So uh, from the company point of view, that doesn't seem like a profitable business for them. They are teaching an undergraduate, and by the time the undergraduate is decent enough to perform a decent work, he's going back to the university. I assume now that it has been changed to a 6 month internship, as far as I recall. Anyway, so this is the CV I wrote back in the days for my first internship. And if you look at this one, let's review this one. I'm taking my own examples because now that when I look at this, I see some mistakes here. Initially, you can see I'm specifying my name along with the initials. Does anybody care about my initials? I don't think so. What does D stands for? Nobody knows except for me. What does U stands for? Nobody knows. So if I'm writing this one today, probably I might even remove it. I might even add my name as Isuru Samarasinghe or maybe Isuru Wes in a in a very short form, because I would like this CV or the resume to be concise as possible. And during this session, I'll be using both CV and the resume words time to time. Keep in mind that there's a slight difference. Whenever we are writing a CV, normally we are adding personal information, such as what is my full name, date of birth, and how old I am, what is my gender, NIC, civil status, and a lot of personal details. And mostly the CV term comes with, if you are applying, let's say you are a graduate and you have to apply for a master's in a foreign university. In that case, when it comes to educational related context, you are using the term CV and you are writing CVs. But when it comes to IT industry, we really don't expect what is your national identity number, what is your address. We really don't expect those very personal details. In that case, we are using the term for resume. So sometimes I might say CV instead of resume, but keep in mind that this is for IT undergraduates and we are only writing resumes. Moving on, I won't be adding much personal information. So sole purpose of writing a resume is that we are trying to optimize this for the IT industry. All right. So I would use Isuru S or maybe Isuru Samarasinghe here. No need to add here saying this is CV, because we know this is a CV. It says here, even in the title. And here I have put my objectives. And at that time, I have written some objective. But instead of an objective, I would prefer to have a summary about me here. Because whenever I'm sending this resume to a company saying I'm looking for an internship, they know this person named Misuru is looking for an internship. We know about him. But when they open my resume or the CV, there need to be a short paragraph saying about who I am. So instead of a personal objective, I prefer to have a summary about me. And if you look at the technical skills here, back in the days, we used to have a module in the first year for 6 months to teach about C programming. Then there was another module to teach about C++ along with data structures and algorithms. So other than doing that module from C, and other than doing the second year module using C++, I haven't done any project using out of these two languages. So I at that time I can even write a hello world. But if they ask me, have you done any personal projects? Have you done any pet project using these two languages? I haven't actually. So when applying for a internship, even for a job, I would recommend to remove anything which you really don't know other than writing a hello world, because by the looks of this one, this looks like I know too much things, but actually speaking, I at that time I knew Java pretty well and a decent amount of C sharp, and yeah, SQL I knew, XML, but there are certain things which I only can write a hello world, but actually speaking, I couldn't create any enterprise application out of it. So when putting too much language in your resume, keep that point in mind. But I'll come to that later. I'm going to discuss a topic called ATS scanner. I'll come to that topic later. And I have put some APIs. At that time, I was building Angular applications and a decent amount of CMS. I knew this OS and tools. What I have been using NetBeans, Eclipse IDE. And one of the important thing was what are the projects involved. At that time, during my university study, I always wanted to earn some extra money. So I was continuously creating new, projects. This particular one was actually a library management system. I was trying to build this myself and even sell this to, some of the smaller libraries in Colombo, I think in only one, and one in Gold. I tried to uh, pitch this to the Richard Patina Library in Goal, but for some reason it didn't work out. But for anyway, I had a working product with me, so it is best if you can put some projects you have actually done, and put, put a certain description here. If possible, add a URL as well. This is one other product which I was writing for a CD rental shop. Nowadays, they are not there anymore. We have Netflix and a couple of other projects as well. Regarding my academic study, I would say if you are applying for an internship, yes, let's put the academic study here. And if you have a very good, island rank or a district rank, yes, you can mention it here as well. And if you have any professional education other than the degree, like if you have done any CCNA, any Java courses, any AWS courses, it is a good place to showcase that one here as well. And if you have an extracurricular activity, certain companies are measuring you like, is this an introverted person or an extroverted person? If you haven't done anything other than studying and other than completing the degree, they might not tend to hire you, assuming that you will do the job. You won't be socializing with other people. When you grow in the ladder, you won't be even guiding to a junior developer. So they might be skeptical about you. So if you have done any extracurricular activities, it is a good place to mention them as well. No need to add personal details anymore. Now, if I'm rewriting this resume, I will simply remove this section. Since you are actually in the university, probably try to get a reference from a couple of couple of lecturers if possible. And I really don't know if you have two internships right now. If you have done one internship already, maybe you can put the reference from one of the contact person, your manager back in that company as well. Most cases, they are not going to call these references because at that time, if they call Dr. Keerthi Gunavikrama and say there's a student has applied name, a student named Isuru Samar Singh has applied to this particular internship, he might not even remember about me because a lot of lot of students were reporting to him. But anyway, you can add them. during the internship period, yes, you can add references. But if you're actually applying for a job, no need to add the references. Simply whatever the interviewer can refer into a recommendation in the LinkedIn. I'll come to that point later as well. So this is basically about the CV I wrote back in the days. Now let's jump to the second resume I wrote. Yeah. So for my second internship, this one I use Microsoft Word to generate this particular PDF. For the second internship, I thought of, okay, how about be more radical and create a very nice CV. And I downloaded this template from I think from internet, and this was using Adobe Illustrator, because using Word or Google Doc you cannot do these fancy designs or anything. But looking at this CV right now, I really don't recommend what you call fancy design like this. Back in the days, I didn't think much about it, but I just want to show my creativity, showing that I know Photoshop, Illustrator, Flash, and all, even for applying for a software engineering job. That's why I came up with this one. I really don't recommend adding this kind of notes, because this is this is probably going to mess up with ATS scanners and all. I'll come to the ATS scanners later. During my second internship, one of the key point is that during this time, I didn't had any links to link to Grantha, Kryptonite, or any of these projects. But during this time, I self-study Android myself, and I had couple of applications listed in Google Play Store, and I have put a link here. This link is broken right now. I am not actively developing Android applications or anything. I got an edge at that time along with the other other undergraduates, because I had live working applications in Google Play Store. In certain interviews, I even remember they have downloaded those applications and even had read the reviews written by the users. There were positive reviews as well as negative reviews. So when applying for my second internship, this actually came so handy. One of the reason is that a lot of the undergraduates, they have only done the assignments or the projects given by the university. I have completed them, as well as I have few applications live working in the Google Play Store with a lot of thousands of downloads, as well as hundreds of reviews and recommendations. So if you have any, put them here. If you don't have it right now, during your maybe internship or during your what you call university studies, try to develop a couple of them, try to get users to them, and you can put a link here as well. And this is pretty much the content wise, this is pretty much as the previous one. One of the other thing is I got my first internship using this CV in Fortune International. And I was reporting to Venura Kahavela. He used to be a senior software engineer, as well as I think part-time he was doing project management as well. During my internship, how to say this? Try to build your PR skills well. Basically, try to be friendly with whoever your manager is, because during the internship, you have to fill that white color book. I think the government is giving you. You have to fill it daily or weekly. Get it verified by this whoever your project manager, whoever your senior during the internship. Even during the same time, try to keep him as a friend, because if you are applying for a second internship, or if you are applying for a what you call actual job, it is best to have two different references instead of having two lecturers from the same university. In this case, I have a lecturer as well as someone who is actually in the industry. One of the what you call mistake I didn't do at that time, I didn't ask him to write a recommendation for me in LinkedIn. I never at that time, maybe LinkedIn wasn't that famous, or somehow I forgot to ask that one. Only thing is he signed my that white color book given by the government, that weekly record book. That's the only thing, and I got his contact number and got his what you call permission to write his email and contact number in my CV. That's the only thing. So during your first internship, try to do that PR skills as well. make sure you can find a reference or two from that particular company. So, all right. So some of the cons in this particular CV or the resume is that, in this case, this is a CV actually. I have put personal and a lot of other information. Um, I have a lot of notes added here and there. And like, okay. So I have added notes here and there. And if you look at any particular job in LinkedIn, which has been posted in past week, for this particular job, over 100 applications have been received so far. Do you really think they are going to interview all these 100 applications? Definitely no. So they are going to use a what they call tool called ATS. Okay, here, ATS. You can read about the ATS yourself. What basically ATS is doing that from these 100 applications, from these 100 resumes or CVs, they are going to scan them and find whatever the keywords they have mentioned here. This is not a good job post. Let's look at this one. Whatever the keywords they have mentioned here, are they available in your resume or not? So yeah, if you look at this one, when ATS is trying to scan this one, since this particular CV is having a lot of jargons like home address, get in touch, this is my default, this is my first internship, probably that particular what we call automated tool ATS is going to mess up. And he's going to record these keywords as well. And since I use Adobe Illustrator to develop this one, there are certain regions in this particular CV which is not scannable by a bot. So there's a good chance, even though I have mentioned specific things, that won't be detected by the bot automatically. So I don't recommend anyone to create fancy CVs like this using Photoshop or Illustrator because it is not scannable by those bots. So let's say for this particular job, they have got 100 applications so far within the past 5 days. So we should make sure that we are going to write our CV in a very concise way so that we are on the top 80%. So normally, if I'm posting a job for my current company, like normally we give instructions to the HR people, we need to hire a full stack developer, post a job in LinkedIn. They are going to post it. HR staff is going to run that ATS scan, and from this 100 application, they are only handing me 20. As a lead software engineer, I haven't even seen that other 80. So make sure your CV is written well. Otherwise, it doesn't even go to the what we call technical person. Maybe if the technical person is having enough time to review all those 100 applications, maybe you might get a chance. But you might even throw out from this pipeline initially because your CV is not following the ATS standards. So keep in mind that. All right. Okay, that is one other point. And when writing CVs and resumes, I have seen certain people are adding their O-level results as well as all the courses they have studied throughout the university. I don't recommend that. It is okay to add your A-level results or any, not results, but if you have a decent rank, you can add it here. But everybody in the industry knows if an undergraduate is coming from a kind of a technical university, they have done the object-oriented programming for sure. They have done Java or C Sharp or C, one language they have learned. They know that. Also, they have done one course about data structures and algorithm. For bare minimum, that is decently enough. So no need to add all the modules you have done in the university because your CV is going to get bulky and it is very hard to read it by a person. So don't add all those O-level results and all. And I said that no need to add personal information. And I also said try to find a recommendation, try to find a referee from the companies you have worked so far. Or if you are going for a internship, try to find a person to do that. And like whenever you are what you call asking your supervisor to fill what you call fill that white color book, that weekly report book, during the same time, ask him to write a recommendation in your LinkedIn as well, because this particular thing is going to stay forever. All right. Okay. Now let's move to one of the recent message I received. Okay. This is actually a friend who recently contacted me from Facebook, and he was telling me, actually, this is a girl, and she was telling me, I hope everybody can see that. Maybe I'll increase the size. Kindly help these two students to obtain a 6-month internship. Sorry for bothering you. The first person is the daughter of my father's friend. I told to, yeah, basically she's this particular lady, she's a friend of my wife. She has told my wife as well. And the first CV, the first resume, the girl, she has sent a message to this particular lady saying, Mama UI UX තමයි බැලුවේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් BA front end developer වුණත් අවුලක් නැහැ. So that's the message I got from them. And the second CV is supposed to be from her boyfriend. පුළුවන් නම් අක්කා මේකත් චුට්ටක් බලනවාද? අයියා software engineering full stack developer වගේ තමයි බලන්නේ. So this is the message I got from Facebook Messenger. And let me show you how my daily calendar is. So every day I go to sleep around 10 in the night. I try to sleep at least 7 to 8 hours if possible. I wake up around 6. So this time I'm sleeping, and there are a lot of motivational videos in internet. You have to sleep 6 hours. I'm not buying that stuff. I don't want to die quite early. So you need to have at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep. So that particular time I'm sleeping. And around 6, I have a family, I have a wife as well as a toddler as well. From 6 to 8, I am spending time with them, having breakfast with them while my wife is cooking lunch and cooking breakfast and lunch. I'm taking care of the child. Around 8, I don't do commute to work, but most other senior engineers have to travel to work. Probably they have to take their child and the wife, drive to work about an hour. From 9 to 1, I am working 4 hours. Then there's lunch break. Then there's another 4 hours I have to work, and around 6, I am going to check out. Then I have to commute another 1 hour. Let's say most senior engineers who are at least 5 years or 10 years older than you, maybe they have to pick their wife on the way, or maybe pick their child from the daycare or the Montessori or the school or the tuition class. And if they are concerned about the health, I am spending at least 2 hours in the gym, doing some cardio, doing some weightlifting. And around 9 at night, maybe it is some family time, spending time with the family, or maybe watch some Netflix or do some personal stuff, then again sleep. For some reason, I am lucky enough that these particular 2 slots are free for me because I am doing a remote job, staying in the house. I'm not actually commuting. But for any other senior software engineer or anyone who is working in Sri Lanka, they have to commute. So when I get a message like this from a friend, only sending the resumes like this, Mama UX UI තමයි බැලුවේ, එහෙම නැත්නම් BA හරි හොයලා දෙන්න කියලා. So are they expecting me to write emails to people who I know saying, hi, I have attached CV in this email. This girl, let's say she is Hasini, has completed the degree program in University of Bruguna. She is looking for an internship. And she has already completed 3.5 years. She wants a 6 months. Can you please check her CV and let me know? So when sending a CV to someone, do you really expect other party will put this effort and write the cover letter for you, convert all that Sinhala and Singlish to English and do this for yourself? I don't want to be rude, but if you look at this particular timetable, you see that for a father, for a husband who is doing a job, there's no time to do all that stuff for someone we hardly even know. So when approaching to someone, yeah, make sure your CV is or the resume is up to the standard. Try to write a cover letter. If possible, try to write a short version of the cover letter as a message. So instead of this, what you call, Mama UI UX tamai balue, this could have been a very nice, what you call, small letter saying, "Hi, my name is Hasini. I'm from University of Ruhuna. I'm at the third year of this particular IT degree. I'm looking for a 6-month internship. So I have attached my CV or the resume along with this message or along with this email, something like that, because nobody's doing that. Personally, I would like to find, basically, I'm not commuting here. I'm normally spending that time to groom those undergraduates, groom those kids, asking them to write nice cover letters and all. But nobody would do that. They would simply say, yes, yes, I forward your CV to that particular company, this particular company. I haven't received back anything from them, but they are not putting that effort. So you have to make sure you are writing a cover letter as well along with the CV. Because during my university studies, there was a workshop to teach us how to write CVs. In that workshop, that particular lecturer was teaching us write a cover letter as well. At that time, I was wondering if I can send a CV by email, simply why can't they go through the CV, understand who I am, and schedule me an interview? That never happens because you have to write a nice cover letter as well, cover letter or a cover email. So I showed you my timetable. All right, and let's review the two CVs I got from here. Okay, so these are the two CVs. This is the girl, this is the boy. Just by looking at it, you can realize like they are using the same template. So this girl is looking for a UX job. The boy is looking for a software engineering job. More or less, those two jobs are in the same company, more or less. If you look at Fortune, they have UX developer jobs as well as software engineering jobs. So normally what happens is, I know one incident from a fresh university, like 20 people, they have used the same CV template and have sent the same CV to the same company. Just when HR staff open these 20 emails, just by looking at us, what is the first impression they get? Everybody has been in the university. Everybody knows that when it comes to assignment, people are copying very hard to prevent that. But can't these people actually create their own CV instead of copying that as well? This is the first impression somebody would get. I remember that that fresh university who copied 20 different CVs with the same template, all the 20 were rejected. They wouldn't even let them give a chance just to get an interview because they haven't even put that effort to create a unique CV. When I say unique, I'm not expecting to have I don't very fancy CV or anything, but try to find a nice, decent template from the internet by yourself. Don't share it with your what you call best friend or even anyone, even in the room, and try to make your CV unique as possible. Even though someone asks for your CV who is in your same what you call level, same university, uh, decline it very politely, saying, I cannot share you the CV. Just in some case, if we both apply for the same company, there's a good chance both of us are going to get rejected on the first round from the HR. So that is the first thing occurred to my mind. Like I actually advise these two undergraduates, don't copy the CV because first impression is what I get is either the girl has copied the boy's one, or the boy has copied the girl's one, or girl might have done both CVs. That is the first impression I get. Then now let's look at review this girl's CV here. Right? Okay. First of all, if you look at the title of this CV, this is that file. I have put number 6 here because I'm I'm going after one by one. And first of all, I would recommend to rename the title of the file into something nicely. Let's say if I'm applying for a software engineer job, I would rename this to Isuru. I won't even add my full name because it is quite lengthy. Isuru, resume, and software engineer. If I apply for a different job, I might even rename this one time to time. Let's rename it back again. First of all, make sure you are renaming the file name so that it is readable. And I have seen some HR people hard drives like their download folders. It is full of CVs. Sometimes they miss certain emails, they miss certain CVs. They cannot even find the CV in this lengthy download list because maybe it hasn't been renamed properly. So try to optimize the file name as well. That is one of the point I have to give you. And then, looking at this CV, you can see this girl has used very dark colors. In this case, what you call somewhat blue color here. So I don't recommend that. Always try to use but light colors, even probably plain white background. One of the reason I'm saying that when I was working in CodeGen, HR people normally review the CV like maybe 1 hour ago. Now that it is 10:45, now that they are going to give me a printed version of the CV saying, Isuru, this girl is going to come to the company within next 1 hour. We have scheduled an interview for the noon today. So can you please interview this girl? So if you take a printout of this CV in the black and white format, it is very hard to read this section. The reason is that background is mostly dark color. In that case, I really cannot ask the HR staff, can you edit this CV, change the background color, and give me another copy because we only have 1 hour to interview this girl, 1 hour to go through this CV. In that case, sometimes I don't even see these skills like Photoshop because it is very hard to read. So probably after this session, if you have a CV template like this, take a printout from one of the communications which is close by and see if this is readable or not. So always try to have a white background for your resume or the CV. So it is much better to read. It is much readable. That is one of the point. The next one is I never recommend to have 2 column templates like this. So the reason is that, as I told you earlier, when scanning over 100, let's say when scanning through these 100 applications, we want to shortlist only 20 out of it. So we are using a thing called ATS scanner. If you search it, you might find tools in Google. ATS scan is actually a very dumb computer program, and it is scanning line by line. Let's say if it is scanning this particular line, it is very hard for the ATS scanner to identify multiple columns. In this case, we have a blue color column as well as a what you call white color column. So it is scanning this entire line like this. You see what it gets. If I copy this one and paste it here, we have Photoshop, Flutter, Marvel, along with some content from this side as well. So the ATS scanner get confused, and there's a good chance your CV might be get rejected by the ATS scan in the first round. So try to follow a single column template, not multiple column templates. Then the next one is profile picture. This girl is applying for a UX UI engineer. Maybe actually she has software engineering skills as well. I normally don't recommend to add a profile picture even though you are very good looking. One of the reason is that looks doesn't have to do anything about this particular job. This is all about skill. And if there are 2 people applied with the same level of skill set, they are not going to shortlist your CV because you looks good in the CV. No, that doesn't going to happen. So you can remove this profile picture and save that space as well. So yeah, because we are applying for engineering related jobs. And this girl has actually put 2 phone numbers here. She had her mobile number as well as a land phone, I think land phone number in the home. So I would recommend only to add the mobile phone number here because certain companies would try to reach out to you from WhatsApp. And if they try to reach out to you, basically try to reach out to you from WhatsApp using your home phone number, definitely they might find like, okay, no WhatsApp contact was found. So it is on HR person's hand whether try to reach the other number or not. Sometimes they might forget, but they can mess up as well. So one of the other, let me give you another example. Uh, uh, when okay, when I was in the university, I remember one of the basically 3, 4 people have applied for the same job, and the first person got a call from that company's HR department. They said, okay, let's say Supun, you have been selected for this jobs interview tomorrow, and your friend, someone from your same batch, let's say Kasun, has applied for this job as well. Can you please inform that person also? HR person doesn't even want to call the second person. He's relying on Supon. He will inform Kasun saying, okay, there's an interview tomorrow. Get ready. Let's both of us go. So we actually complain about this HR person for that company, saying it is not a very professional practice to do that. Having said that, they might do it. So that is one of the reason I'm asking you, remove the home phone number. Your father will answer it, your mother will answer it. Maybe they don't even speak English properly. They might mess up. So put a mobile number, and until you find a job, make sure it is turned on all the time. Because sometimes, let's say I'm a lead software engineer. I'm asking the HR staff, okay, do you remember there was a CV from a girl named Hasini? So can you please inform her to come for an interview tomorrow because I'm free tomorrow. HR person completely forget about it, and probably when he goes to his home at night, now he might remember, okay, Isuru asked me to call that girl. Probably around 10, 9, he might give a call and say, I'm really sorry calling you there at this hour, but can you please come for an interview tomorrow? So even around 7 to 10 also, there's a chance you might get a call from a messed up HR person. That is also possible. So try to add a mobile phone number. Make sure you are answering it always. And here she has had a profile section explaining about herself, what exactly she is going to do. I would expect more or less a summary about herself, like, okay, I'm this person, I have a BSc in this one, I have done these certification courses, I'm looking for an internship, something like that, maybe a summary. And moving on, I'll be showing a different CV as well. I'll explain about the summary. All right. So I gave all this guidance to this girl, and she came up with a different CV. So let me open that one here. So this is the CV she came up with. Background is white right now. It doesn't have a profile picture. Her name is here on the top. In the second line, she has mentioned her degree program. Okay, I don't recommend, but okay. And she hasn't had her entire address. She's in Colombo, Sri Lanka. Her mobile phone number is here. Her email is here. LinkedIn, GitHub, and one of her website is here. Here we have a summary. She's saying she's highly motivated, completing doing this particular degree program in this university, and a decent summary is here. So from a recruiter point of view, when I look at this CV for an internship role, I know actually they don't have much work experience because they have just completed their A levels, and right after that they are doing their university studies. So if they have any work experience, even part time, even teaching A level subjects for A level students, even that is okay. So it shows that you are someone who can actually do work, and someone who actually wants to earn some money. If you can add some work experience, great. She has added few here. Then regarding her education, she's saying she's an undergraduate in this particular university, and she has done this particular course, and she has done some other certification course as well. And here, more importantly, she has done some projects, and also she has given hyperlinks here with underline, what do you call, it has been underlined as well as in blue color. In her previous CV also, those projects were there. But if you look at them here, movie theater ticket booking app. If I hover over it, I'll get a link, but just by looking at it, I really don't know whether it is a hyperlink or not. So if you're adding hyperlinks, make sure you follow that hyperlink formatting standards. She has added few projects and she has done a research as well. She has done a lot of Udemy courses. Great. She has linked to her certifications, which she got from Udemy, LinkedIn, and stuff like that. She has added her skills. Here, I didn't specifically ask her to remove C, Python. Probably she knows Java well. She only knows how to write a C and hello world in C and Python. Maybe you can remove it. Maybe you can keep it. The reason you can keep it is that let's say if you are looking for a job post here, sometimes they say, okay, technical requirement this, but if you know C, it is a nice to have. We don't have too much C related, C++ related work, but if you have it, it is nice to have. So certain people tend to add languages even they hardly know just to pass the ATS scanner. I have done it myself so that we can bypass the ATS scanner, our CV get listed, and during the interview phase, we can say, I know Java pretty well, but see, I have done very little bit amount of work, but within a week or two, I can quickly get started with C. It is just a matter of migrating from Java to C. I pretty much know the basics. So for an internship, okay, you can add all the languages you want. But if you're applying for a job, when you go in the career ladder, maybe ignore everything which you hardly know. Only add the things actually you are quite strong with. She has added some frameworks and added couple of references. It is okay to add references if you are applying for an internship. But when you're actually applying for the job during your career, they can always find the references from your LinkedIn profile. No need to what do you call put them in your resume or CV. So this is actually a good update of her CV. She has learned those skills well. Then all right. So I'll be comparing this undergraduate CV along with my current CV. Normally, I have seen people hardly show off their CV because they are a bit skeptical. Other people might copy it. This is my latest CV on the right hand side. This is that girl's CV on the left hand side. One of the reason I'm showing it along with I would say 100 plus people here because we have a quite a bit of experience gap. There's no way you are going to copy this CV template and I'm going to apply for the same job I am applying tomorrow. So I have like 10 years plus 10 years of experience than you, but I'm just showing my CV just to get an idea what I'm doing these days. So let's see. All right. I'll only show my CV, otherwise you can't even see it. Here I have put my name. If possible, I can shorten this to isuru.s because a lot of foreigners cannot hardly read my surname. I'm a lead software engineer. I'm based in Colombo and Sri Lanka because I have optimized this CV for the global context. This is my phone number. This is my Gmail. And I have a LinkedIn profile. You have seen it already. I have a GitHub profile as well. This is one of the other thing I want to stress you out. If you look at this GitHub profile, you can see even though I'm a lead software engineer, day to day I'm managing people as well as coding myself. I have a decent bit of programming skills as well. You see, I'm actively involved with the programming because I have seen sometimes when you grow in the software engineering career ladder, at some point people stop coding and they always manage people and try to get something down out of them. But you can survive like that in the Sri Lankan industry. But in the global context, they expect you to have certain bit of management skills as well as hands-on programming. And they look at my GitHub profile and see, okay, this guy has even coded on 24th March as well. That means today, right? Yeah, today. And yeah, he has decent bit of experience here. And sometimes during interviews, they ask me what exactly you were doing during this area. I have very good explanation. During that area, I was traveling back and forth to Dubai and Vietnam to capture client requirement, attend to client meetings, and I was more or less composing documents. Because of that reason, I didn't actively code that time. And if they look at my history during the past years, I have a decent bit of experience here as well. So then the next question you get is during university studies, how to get your GitHub profile filled. That seems like a hard thing to do. But what I would say is if you are doing pet projects, in this my case, this is a pet project I did like few months ago just to do some crypto analysis. This is one other pet project. I'm actively looking for a house to buy these days. So I have written a crawler. It is scanning itman.lk every single day. And based on my criteria, it is picking certain houses and sending me an email. That is a pet project. And I simply put it in the GitHub profile. So if an recruiter wants to see whether what exactly this person has done, how his coding style is, he can look into that. This is another crypto project I did like 3 months ago, doing analyzing crypto and making certain predictions. And when doing that, I was heavily using ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to write documentation for me. I asked ChatGPT to write testing for me, so that when a recruiter is looking at a code repository like this, one of they know everybody can code, but will they document? Will they write unit tests? Will they write integration tests? Those are like plus points we can mark it. So that's one of the reason I have put those tests here, even though I'm the only single person using it. And during university studies, if you are doing any pet projects, try to host them in GitHub. One of the other thing is I would recommend, in order to brush up your programming skills, there's a site called HackerRank. Go to HackerRank and there are programming questions, algorithm questions. I normally try to complete one at least once a week because I don't have much time. But if you have time, try to complete one problem every single day and create a repository here. Put that problem and the answer in your repository. So eventually you are going to get a decent contribution like this. So when you are applying for an internship or the job, you have something to showcase here. And keep in mind that there's some meme here. You as the guy, she tells you don't have to worry about. And I saw this Medium article. There's a way of automating GitHub and try to put commits every single day and get a nice profile like this. But I strongly recommend not to do this one because GitHub has their own AI models trained to detect these kind of anomalies. And if you are trying to put jargon commits every single day with a given period of time, they are going to find it and they are going to ban your account forever. So don't try to risk your GitHub profile doing those silly activities. Try to get decent amount of contribution actually doing some work. So coming back to my resume, try to have a GitHub profile. Here I have given a summary here instead of so the recruiter doesn't have to go through my entire resume here. He has a summary here. I have 10 years of experience. I have done client management and I have managed teams. And I have also conducted on-site product demonstration and stuff like that. So for me, that seems like a decent summary. I'm not applying for internships. I'm actually applying for jobs. So in the remote context, in the global context, whenever I get a CV from India saying I have completed my bachelor's in Jaipur University, do we really know where Jaipur University is? Do we really know if there's in an actual university there? We really don't know. We don't even have time to cross-examine those things. Only thing whenever you are applying for the actual job, only thing we are interested about, does this person has previous work experience? Sorry, in this case, years. And what kind of projects they have completed. In this case, I have done Trilogy Data Pro. I have even put a link here as well. And what technologies they have used here. Like I have used Angular, Python, DynamoDB and stuff like that. Using those technologies, what business value they have captured. Previously, this process was taking 3 months. Now that with this latest technologies and the product, we somehow managed to cut down that 3 months to a couple of weeks. That's the business value we have given. And responsibilities. Sometimes the recruiter wants to know how senior I am in the company. When I say lead software engineer, sometimes they won't even understand. This is actually kind of a manager role. And here I'm saying I'm reporting to a senior vice president here. And my responsibilities are choosing the technologies, managing an engineering team, doing the meetings and stuff like that. So you don't have to copy this exact particular template or copy my template entirely. Make sure it is going to be a single column template and it doesn't have any fancy colors. Couple of colors is enough. In this case, this have kind of black and a bluish color. And if you're applying for a job, start with the companies and the projects you have worked with, because the last thing they are interested about your studies actually. So I have put my experience and the projects I have worked with. And finally, my academic education. I have a Master of Science, MSc in Information Security. Yeah, that is a plus point. Not a lot of people in the global context have masters. I have bachelor's degree as well. Not a lot of people have it. There are certain engineers who doesn't even have a degree. They have decent amount of experience, and that's how they have become an engineer. In my case, I have a bachelor's as well. I have done some professional education as well. I have other qualifications as well. If possible, try to compose your CV or the resume into two sides of A4. In this case, 2 pages. But if you look at my one, I have 3 pages here, which is not a best practice because the lengthier your CV becomes, the technical people and the HR people, they are very reluctant to read the entire CV. In my case, I have a negative point. If possible, I had to put this content somewhere above and try to make it for 2 pages. I tried my best. I couldn't do it, but yeah, I'm trying to optimize this one probably every week as well. Okay. And one other thing, when certain people are actually interviewing me as a recruiter, they're asking me, have you actually worked in CodeGen? Have you actually worked in Crossover? In that case, I'm simply ask them, go to my LinkedIn profile. You will see very good recommendation I have got from both companies. Read them. These are actual real profiles, so they are not fake reviews or anything. So yeah, that's one of the reason I'm stressing out. Try to get recommendation for the LinkedIn profile as well. All right. So the next point is, why do we need a cover letter? All right. So as I told you before, as I showed you a message from one of my friends from Facebook, they are only sending the CV to me. And I actually sent this girl's CV to the CodeGen International. And I really don't have time to write a cover letter for them. Try to convince the person from CodeGen, okay, this particular girl is an undergraduate, stuff like that. I don't have time. So I asked her to write a cover letter for me as well. I would expect a very simple cover letter. Let's write a one right now when we are in the code. Dear hiring manager. Cover letter doesn't have to be a lot of hard words from English. It has to be very simple and very concise. It doesn't have to be multiple, what do you call, paragraphs, because nobody wants to read that kind of a lengthy email. Dear hiring manager, my name is Isuru and I am a fourth year under from Rona. There might be some typos here. Let me type this in a different place. Dear hiring manager from Rona, I am looking for a 6 months shift as a after that 6 months Even this is enough. Let's say I have attached my resume and cover. Even this is enough. But let's say when I see an email like this, as a recruiter, the first question I get, okay, this guy is from Drona engineering faculty. He's in the fourth year. Let's say there are some 3 years degree program as well. So I would like to know how many years of a degree program is this and which year you are in. Let's try to write it like this. I am in a 4 year degree program from University of Rouen Engineering Faculty. Right now, I am in my third year and I am looking for a 6 month internship. After that 6 months, then the next question is recruiter wants to know after the internship, are you going back to the university or can you stay with us and complete the remaining work? Can you join as a software engineer full time? That is the other question they want to know. So my name is Isuru. I'm following a 4 year degree program from University of Rohun Engineering Faculty. Right now, I'm in my, let's say, right now, I have completed 3.5 years of my study and I am looking for a 6 month internship as a software engineer. After that 6 months, if my performance meet the company standards, I would like to discuss for a term long-term career. That is one of the other points recruiters want to know. If you have to study after the internship, you don't have to mention it. Maybe specify that after the 6 month internship, I'm going back to the university. So they know what kind of person they are hiring. But if it is going to be like in the fourth year, mid fourth year, after the 6 months, you can join the company, specify that because it can be a plus point. They might even like to hire you. I have attached my resume and the cover letter along with this email. This is a very decent, I would say this is a very decent cover letter because it is not that wordy. It is specifying the what you call message correctly. And okay, this is going to be a cover letter. Then sometimes I have seen certain people write cover letters like this and then try to get ChatGPT support to optimize it. Let's see if ChatGPT is doing a decent job. I am writing. Can you my prompt here is I'm writing a cover letter. The letters are quite small. Can you rewrite it more professionally? Let's see. It was giving me a very lengthy cover letter email, which I don't recommend. Let's try to modify our prompt. Make sure there is only one paragraph because I don't really want to read multiple paragraphs. And let's try to copy this one and try to compare this along with the other one I just wrote. If you look at the left side of it, it is quite simple. Seems like an actual Sri Lankan has written it. No fancy English words. But if you look at the right side one, I'm writing to express my interest pursuing a 6 month internship as a software engineer. Currently enrolled with this degree program. Uh, Rigorous studies, honoring my skills. Am I looking at the same thing? Yes. Okay. I think uh, I kind of remember creating a copy. Okay. Let's make a duplicate here. Sorry. The first cover that I wrote was in the ChatGPT prompt. Then I think I created a copy. Okay. Now this seems like a decent example. So this is the cover letter I wrote. This is the one ChatGPT wrote. Sometimes I have seen ChatGPT is using a lot of unwanted words, trying to make it more professional. But you be the judge. I would still prefer something actually I wrote. But if your English is not that good, maybe you can get ChatGPT support. But for me personally, this doesn't seems like something I wrote. But maybe if you're having problems with English, maybe you can get ChatGPT support as well. But make sure not to write any lengthy cover letters. Try to be concise as possible. So that is one of the other point I want to highlight here. Now that we have a cover letter ready, and yeah, now that we have a cover letter ready, and let's try to download this one. Okay. And I'm going to show it here. All right. So let me delete this one. So I'm applying for a software engineer intern position, and I have renamed my CV through resume software engineer intern. And the same way, I'm going to rename my cover letter as well. Because when an HR person downloads it to the computer, he should be able to easily find it out. Then let's try to write an email. Okay. All right. I'm going to write this to myself. I'm going to use a test email here. Make sure the subject is very concise as possible. So this is going to be application for a application for an intern software application for an software engineer. Be concise as possible. We just wrote a cover letter. Let's copy that one here. Yeah, looking from this email screen, you can see it is quite lengthy. Maybe I'll break it down like this. Okay. Here I'm saying I have attached my resume and the cover letter along with this email. So I have to remove that point from here. It is not required for the actual cover letter PDF. Let's download this again. I'm going to rename that one again as well. All right. Okay. And this seems like a decent cover email, and I have to attach my files as well. I'm going to attach these last two. And one other dirty little secret we are doing is normally this email will be received by someone from the HR if you're applying for a Sri Lankan company. And don't send the emails on weekends. because they are getting multiple emails on the weekend. When they look at their computer on the Monday morning, your email will be on the bottom of their email list. Sometimes they might even miss it. And yeah, due to whatever the reason, there's a slight chance even they might miss your email. In that case, since we are on a Sunday morning, maybe you can schedule this one to send this. Not, let's specify a time on Monday. And when picking the time, I would recommend a quiet morning time around 5:21, not 7 o'clock, not 8 o'clock. One of the reason is that when they got this email, they see the time, the date and the time this email was received. And they are getting an email asking for an internship position from an engineer from engineering faculty. And this particular person has sent the email around 5:15, 5:17 in the morning. That time somehow unintentionally give him an idea. This is a very hard-working person. He is an early bird. He is very serious about this particular application. He has even he might have probably wake up around 4 in the morning. He's sending me an email quite early in the day. So there's a good chance you can still what do you call propose a good image about you. So try to send them in a morning time. Having said that, don't send them a mail in 1 in the morning, no, but around 5, 4, 6, that is a decent time. And when they see their computer on the Monday morning or maybe tomorrow morning, so this is going to be the first email they are going to see. And they are in a very good mood. They are not stressed. They are not busy. And there's a good chance they are going to forward this email to the technical person. They are going to process this one. There's a good chance they are not going to miss this one. You can schedule it and send it. Maybe I'm going to send it right now to my personal email. All right. Now let's see if I have received it. Okay. All right. So this is the application I got. Application for an intern software. Application for an software engineering intern. Maybe you can change the title a bit, subject a bit. We have very short, concise message here in the email body. Looking at the what you call file names, easily identified. This is Isuru, his resume, and looking for a software engineering intern. This is his cover letter, pretty much the same thing, but there's a cover letter because sometimes they try to forward this to some other person. Let's say Isuru. And the other person might not even see the body because it might be collapsed by Gmail or Google automatically. So let's see if I get this email. Okay. When the next person is seeing, probably he doesn't even normal people know that you can expand this one, but sometimes it is hidden so that the cover letter is there. They can get an idea about you. Okay, this is the message. And we have the resume here. So that is how you normally write a cover letter and schedule emails and send emails. Don't send them on the weekend. Try to schedule it for the weekdays. Then finally, one of the last thing I have to mention you that uh, I was showing you my LinkedIn profile. I have years of experience. So probably you might assume because I have years of experience, I have worked for Sri Lankan companies as well as foreign companies as well. I am working from home. Probably you might assume if I want to change my job and if I'm applying one of these roles, basically I'm actively looking for jobs, actively applying. I just want to be updated as possible because sometimes the recruiters are asking strange questions which I don't know. So always I try to learn something. And if there's a better offer in another country or another job, I'm always actively looking certain job roles like this. Let me show you. I have put a Boolean query here inside LinkedIn. I'm searching for these jobs. And here I have selected jobs here. I'm not selecting past month. I'm only selecting within the past 24 hours because I don't have time to apply for all the past 1 week jobs. And for the experience level, I'm looking for senior, director, and executive. And I'm looking only for the remote jobs as well. I'm actively applying them. I have set up certain automations to do that. So when doing that, you might assume since I have experience with both local and remote and have 10 years of experience, it is very easy for me to get a job. Unfortunately, it is not because software engineering is going to be a very scary place to be with all the new LLMs, ChatGPT are in place. Because let's say previously, if I was doing 100 tasks per week, with the AI support, now I can do 150. That means previously, if a company wanted three lead software engineers, now that they only want two lead engineers. So it can be a very scary place. So even if I'm going to apply these jobs, there's a good chance I'm not going to get selected for them. So same thing might happen to you. So I just want to tell you about that one as well. If you look at this job sheet, I actively started applying for new jobs starting on not August, not starting from September last year because I was working in the same company, same department, same project. I was looking for a change, and I was actually managing this job sheet. Probably you can see this, right? Okay, now let me. I assume you can see it. All right. I was managing this job sheet. What is the company I am applying? What is the position? From where did I found it? From their direct website or from LinkedIn? I may maintain the salary. I clear it before this workshop today. Which date I applied? Initially, when I applied, I mark it as ignored. If they reject me, I mark it as rejected. If I get an interview, I mark it as interview. And if I get an update from them, I update this column. If they reject me, I update this reason column as well. What reason they reject me? So I apply for hundreds of jobs within the last 4 to 5 months. So what I came to an understanding is that sometimes it is purely not my fault. If you look at world map, if you apply for remote jobs somewhere down the line, sometimes they are mostly US companies and UK companies. US companies, they tend to hire people from Brazil, Argentina, like this region, because they are pretty much in the same time zone. They are somewhat reluctant to hire because US and Europe, they know that Brazil doesn't have a huge living cost. They know that Asia and Africa doesn't have a huge living cost. So they would like to hire remote engineers from those areas because, yeah, that is one of the reasons due to budgetary constraints. So US companies tend to hire from these regions, from South America. And whenever I apply some of those jobs, they initially reject me because I'm from Sri Lanka. They assume because this guy is from Sri Lanka, he might not work during the midnight hours. He might complain somewhere down the line. So he's a risky investment right now. Let's reject his CV from the ATS scan. So that happens. And that has also happened. That's why I have so many rejections. Then the next one is if you apply for UK related jobs, they would tend to hire from African region because they are pretty much in the time zone. So even for UK jobs, when I apply, I get rejected from the ATS scan directly. But there are opportunities. Even UK and US, they are even Australia. They are hiring from India, mostly from Asia, because our labor is cheap, and somehow we are in a closed time zone. There are opportunities as well. So when looking at my that job sheet, one of the reason I have a lot of rejections. They sometimes even doesn't give an explanation or a reason. They straight away reject me from the ATS scan. Seems like an automated email. Then there's another reason. If the job is asking for C sharp, which I don't have C sharp experience, but somehow I'll try to put C sharp in my resume. So I pass the ATS scan. And when a person is actually reviewing my resume and they see he hasn't worked any C sharp project, but he has added as his professional languages. So he doesn't have hands-on experience with C sharp. So that I can get rejected. So if you're applying for what you call internship positions, it is okay to add all the languages you have experience with. But when applying for actual jobs, if you don't know something, my recommendation is not to apply for that position. But if you want, you can apply and get a rejection like me. Then there are certain jobs, actually I got interviews like this one. Then even in the company I am working, there are other departments as well. I was actively applying other departments. And yeah, this one's, yeah, some reason here. So I actually summarized a report like this. Uh, I started applying from this date to this date, almost 5 months. I applied this many positions, 136. Out of 136, 90 out of them, no reply. Simply they have ignored me. Maybe the ATS can throw my CV away. And out of those remaining ones, 38 of them were rejected. They were rejected with a valid reason saying, Isuru, you are in the Sri Lankan region. Unfortunately, we are not hiring from Asia region anymore because we have a huge time gap. Due to that reason, your application is rejected. Then out of these 154, I only get 8 interviews. Some interviews I pass, some interviews I fail. But getting secured an interview, I find it as an achievement because getting an interview is hard in the global context. Uh, the reason I am exposing these figures just to get you an idea how challenging it can be if you are applying for the remote jobs, because for a given job post, if there are like 100 applications, there are 99 of them would be from India, Nepal, Philippines, even Pakistan. There will be always only one Sri Lankan because you have a huge competition from other Asian regions. So I just want to, what do you call, draw a correct picture about the job market these days. And keep in mind that if you can apply at least 15 job applications per day, there's a good chance you can secure a job within a couple of weeks. I hardly did that. I learned it by at the end of my job seeking process. So on certain days, I'm only applying one or two. I have been lazy. So I would say try to at least apply more than 10 a day, even though you have some kind of slight matching with the job. Then one of the other thing is I want to highlight some of the ChatGPT prompts I am using. Okay. So this is one of the query I use in LinkedIn. I showed you what are the filters I am applying. Let's say I want to see if I'm a good match for this particular job. Sometimes the LinkedIn would say, okay, you have this much of matching percentage, but for this particular matter, I'm getting ChatGPT support here. Let's see what is the prompt I'm going to use. In this prompt, I will give you my resume and a job description. First, do an ATS scan and let me know a figure percentage-wise how much I match with the job. Then let me know your recommendations. All right. So this is the prompt I'm going to use. After that, I'm going to use my resume. After that, job description. All right. Let's paste it here. One of the reason I'm using Google Sheets, Google Docs for creating resumes, I can edit it from my laptop, from my desktop if I want, and I can simply copy paste it anywhere I want. And also I'm using certain automations to apply for certain jobs. Those automations can easily read my resume here. So let's paste the resume here and let's copy this job description here. Okay. It is saying that I have a 90 to 95% matching score with this particular job, which seems like a very decent score. But based on your prompt you write for ChatGPT, you don't have to have pro version, even the free version will do. It is saying what should you what are the recommendations for your CV. Sometimes they can be very slight what do you call, very slight modification to your CV. If you look at this skills section in LinkedIn, and if you try to add something like REST, you see they have RESTful web services, REST APIs. So always try to use those keywords from LinkedIn in your resume instead of REST APIs. If possible, try to add both these words in some way into your resume so that there's a good percentage your ATS can would match. A lot of what do you call it? A lot of employers are using LinkedIn skills and their keywords when they are writing these job posts. So use these keywords exactly in your resume. I have done that as well. Let me show you. You see, instead of REST APIs, I have specifically mentioned here RESTful APIs because that was the one available in LinkedIn. So coming back to our ChatGPT prompt, it is saying 90 to 95% and matching skills, and it is giving me some recommendation. Highlight certain things like you can read those recommendations. Eventually, you can fine tune your CV. Initially, I had one technology section, but later I found out that if I can specify the technology for each project, there's a good chance the ATS scanner is going to pick my resume. That's why I have mentioned the tech stack here again, and also here again inside CodeGen projects as well. Pretty much duplicating the same thing. Java might have been duplicated a few places. That's one of the reasons my CV is 3 pages, but if possible, try to make it 2. This is one of the ChatGPT prompt I use, but let's modify it. In this prompt, I'll be giving you my resume and job description. Okay, giving you my resume, and in future prompts, I will give you a job description based on all those future prompts you following. First, do an ATS scan. So in my first prompt, I'm only giving the resume only. Let's see. Let's create a new prompt. I'm actually using what do you call this kind of a thread with ChatGPT. Let's copy the resume here. Is it processing? Yes. All right. Then starting from there, let's keep adding job descriptions. Ideally, it should be doing a decent job. Let's copy this one. All right. So if you are doing this one iteratively and trying to modify your resume back and forth, it is saying 70 to 80%. If you really want the job, maybe there are some recommendations here. And let's pick somewhere something with a decent salary. Yeah, let's pick this one. Seven to 8%. Basically, if you can pass 75, there's a good chance ATS is going to pick your resume. But that also can depends on the job. But if you want to achieve a high score, maybe try optimizing your resume here. So that is one of the prompt. And I have a separate prompt to write what you call similar prompt to write cover letters as well. Let me write it here. You don't have to follow exactly my prompt, but you can come up with your own one. In this prompt, I'll be giving my resume, and in the future prompts, I'll be giving you the description. Based on all those future prompts, do the following. Write a cover letter for me, but this is going to be an email, not an actual letter. Don't write more than one. Make sure to add keywords you find from the resume, you find from the job description. and make sure those keywords are available in my resume as well. Because sometimes the job description is saying we are looking for a Java developer, but it is nice to have C++ as well. In my resume, I only have Java, no C++, but the ChatGPT is writing me a cover letter saying I have Java and C++ experience, which is false. So try to be as concise as possible. Never write any incorrect statements there. Okay, let's try this prompt in a new thread. I'm putting my resume again. And it is already writing writing something, but anyway, let's keep this one. All right. Even though I specifically said don't write more than one paragraph, I think I have to stress it out a little bit and try to optimize my prompt again. But I'm pretty sure a lot of university folks are using ChatGPT on day-to-day basis, probably during the assignments. You should know it better. I hardly rely on writing cover letters from ChatGPT, but if required, you can use it. For this particular cover letter seems like too much for me. I would prefer one particular paragraph. Yeah, this is what I normally do. Let's see if I have any other talking points to cover. Yeah, this is pretty much it. So I wish you all the best for the job hunting and securing for an internship, probably in Sri Lanka, if required, even in abroad as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now you can raise any questions from our guest speaker to clarify your doubts.